Alright, I'm back. So this is not really a House of the Dead game canonically, but it's kind of historically significant in the House of the Dead series because of its influence. And this is Vampire Knight. Early 2000s light gun game with a very sleek, gothic atmosphere and a focus on vampires instead of the creatures that we saw in the previous House of the Dead game. This game was released between House of the Dead 2 and 3. Interesting for a few reasons. The first of which, this was actually a joint collaboration between Sega and Namco. So Sega handled the software. They had their House of the Dead division, Sega AM1 or WoW Entertainment, work on the game, the software, and Namco supplied them the arcade board, the System 246, which is based on the PlayStation 2, and handled the cabinet design and the light guns, which is one reason why this game is unique. And the other is this game was very much influenced by House of the Dead, but interestingly enough wound up influencing House of the Dead right in return. This game has a few gameplay mechanics that would wind up appearing in future House of the Dead games, beginning with the House of the Dead 3, which I guess we'll conclude the marathon with after this. The arcade version, the PlayStation, the arcade version, the textures are a bit higher res. Some of the sound effects are different, but as far as I'm aware, it's the PlayStation 2 port, which I'm playing on here via emulator, is pretty one-to-one with the arcade. And at this point, it's probably the best way to play it because I've never seen this game in years. I've only seen it at one Chicagoland arcade. It is now gone. But yeah, this is a very interesting game. We'll talk a bit about it. This is by far the hardest game I have submitted. It definitely took a lot of inspiration from House of the Dead 2 in terms of difficulty. But this game has a really nasty rank system, and also probably one of the hardest final bosses in the light gun genre. So I can't guarantee I'll once you see the game here, but I'll try. And you'll definitely see everything the game throws at me. But at any rate, getting a bit parched here, sorry. At any rate, it should be fun. So let me take a quick sip of water, because this game has a lot of rapid fire. Okay. Let's get started here. All right, we are going to start in 3, 2, 1. Arcade mode. Arcade mode. Go. Let's go. So you get these cool loading screens and text. Be gone now, for your time has long since passed. Take your places in ancient history. This game definitely has style going for it.
At last. Yes. How long I've waited for this moment.
But voice acting is still up tier.
Let's settle this once and for all.
And that's what we all love, right?
Who shall live and who shall die?
Looks like nothing survived here, too. They're coming.
Okay. Shoot. So there's a few House of the Dead differences. The differences between this and House of the Dead, which you've probably noticed already. One is I have 8 bullets around instead of 6. Enemies' weak points, which vary from enemy to enemy in this game. They're not just all headshots, unlike House of the Dead. Which is one difference, and the other is they have health bars as well. So the game definitely has some changes from House of the Dead, which we'll talk about. But this level is kind of a basic prologue level. There's really not too much going on. There's no branching paths or anything. It kind of just introduces you to the game, fight some vampires, and save some villagers.
Help me! Everyone's turning into vampires.
Stay back.
So the hostage mechanic in this game is a bit unique, in which you have to shoot the parasitic vampiric sarcomas off the bodies of the villagers to save them.
Please help the others.
If you shoot the villager by mistake, they turn into a vampire, and then you're forced to kill them.
Wait!
But there's no life penalty.
Who are you?
We hunt the creatures of the dark. Vampire hunters.
But saving people is worth points and some extra lives. And as we get to the stage tally here, it's a short first stage. You get a life up as well if you have a high enough accuracy and you save enough people. 3 lives to start, 5 is the max. Again, very basic House of the Dead formula. Splendid. The moment when existence turns to nothingness in a flash of brilliance. Nothing is more beautiful than the moment of death. And you got this calendar thing.
As might have been expected of a vampire hunter.
Wonderful. What interesting experimental material they are.
As expected. Not bad.
Interesting. Let's see them do better.
The dialogue before the stage is pretty top tier.
Wait!
I love this part right here. Listen.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, epilepsy warning, I completely forgot. I don't have a flash filter for this emulator, so if you have epilepsy problems, please be careful. Don't view this in a dark room.
Reload!
This is where the branching paths start. If you don't save her, you take a different route. Lower route. She can't be killed. The girl, her name is Caroline, and she just sort of becomes a supporting character. She follows the vampire hunters. This game, kind of interesting. According to the lore, this game takes place, I believe, in 2006, which is the same year House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn takes place. But this completely different timeline, of course. But the vampire hunters, Michael and Albert, they were created by the vampire leader, August, who we've seen rocking his Count Dracula get-up in the cutscenes. August created the vampire hunters to end his life. But then he was bored of immortality, but then he chickened out and tried to kill them and strip them of their powers. So he's enlisted his followers to defeat the vampire hunters who are just tracking him down to his castle to finish him off once and for all. There's a few more branching paths, like shooting the door or saving or not saving Caroline. It's the most convoluted stage in the game, but the branching paths in this game are nowhere near House of the Dead level, which is a little bit disappointing. Some people to rescue. And save him.
This can't be. My wife. My daughter.
So that's the max health. So it's just worth points. I think it's 1,000 points for every life you get while you're at max. Now on the rooftop, which has its own music. Another Final Fight illusion. Just like the bathroom has its own music, well, Rooftop and Vampire Night has its own music. Which is pretty great. These enemies are pesky, because when they spit their projectiles, the projectiles come at you from off-center, and it's really annoying. And we're already at the boss.
Stay back! Amazing. Your powers. I am the one who serves the vampire. What a joy. Finally meet such powerful ones. Draw your guns. Don't disappoint.
Alright. The bosses have names, but they're all French, and I'll probably butcher their names, so you can check the House of the Dead wiki that I've slaved away at with some other people for the last couple of years, if you want to know about that. The Wiki of the Dead. So all bosses have about a second of invincibility after you shoot them. So if you go crazy just shooting them, you end up sacrificing a lot of your accuracy, and then you run the risk of not getting your life up in the stage.
Now, let's have some fun.
So it's time to have fun. So we're gonna have fun with this boss, I guess. This game's all about having fun. So he starts sending projectiles your way. Sometimes if I'm fighting a boss and it seems like I'm gonna fail a phase, speaking of phases, so that's a big difference. A new thing that Vampire Night added that's in House of the Dead 3, 4, and Scarlet Dawn. You see that cancel gauge, the red health meter below the main blue one. So during each phase, the objective is to shoot him enough. For most phases, these ones, if you don't empty it, doesn't matter. But if you empty the red meter fast enough, you finish the phase. In most cases, if you don't finish it in time, you take damage.
I never thought I'd meet.
So this game was about having fun, right?
But the fun's over.
Yep,
Be prepared.
fun's over now.
Because I've no mercy for you.
So here's the actual boss.
Will mark your grave.
Getting back to that, we'll see during this, there's a weak point, this diagram as well. So as we fight the boss, you'll see the cancel gauge at play. That's where actually it matters. You can't shoot him there, even though the game tells you that, because he's got iframes. 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Okay, so he's coming after you. You've got that cancel gauge. You've got to empty it in time to stop him, or else you take damage. And I was counting the number of shots because the rank system in this game, the better you play, the harder the game gets. And the way it mostly scales up the difficulty is the bosses are much tankier. They require more shots per phase. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the maximum. I'm on absolute highest rank now. You can manage rank if you take damage on purpose. It seems like it's kind of based on, and that's the first boss. It seems like if you maintain 5 lives or over 3 lives, the rank gets harder. And if you take damage, it typically lowers it.
Why?
But pretty easy first boss. But definitely gets trickier as the game continues.
Is there no way to free us from fate?
We go. All right, so chapter 3 now. There's 6 chapters in this game. It's also longer than the House of the Dead 2 for sure. My destiny is to create. One day, I will create a monstrosity so terrible it will seep into the deepest recesses of human fear. These illustrations are beautiful.
Lose to humans? We are not made for defeat.
That voice acting.
You're no vampire.
It's incredible stuff.
Are you going crazy? Pointing a gun at me?
So now we're in the castle.
Don't worry. This gun knows who to destroy.
What a coincidence. I know too. And it's you.
And Augustus sending more of his main followers after us.
After I'm done with you, no one will know if you existed or not.
This boss is annoying because he mostly sends projectiles after you, these embers. Get some garlic. The branching path here is these 2 statues. If you shoot the left statue before the right, or vice versa, it determines the path that you take. Left path is shorter, maybe higher scoring. The right path is longer and more difficult for sure. So we'll just take the left path as I'm more accustomed to doing that. Sometimes the branching paths actually change the number of civilians you're able to rescue, which can also affect your ability to get a life up at the end of a stage. He's a Sonic the Hedgehog, rolling vampires. Well, notice that this game mostly spawns usually only 2 vampires at once, and they come at you from a distance. These were conscious design decisions made by the development team because they realized the House of the Dead format had to evolve. This game is all about rapid fire, and you see like they give you more shots to compensate and balance the difficulty. These enemies are far from a distance, and you very rarely fight more than 2 at once. Let's see here. The scoring strategy is to weaken the enemy as much as possible. Every time you shoot a part of the enemy's body, that's not the weak point, you get like just 100 points. And then if you shoot the weak point, you will get just a little bit more. So it's not like House of the Dead where if you shoot an enemy without a headshot, it actually depletes and decreases the amount of points the enemy gives. So the scoring strategy in this game is to weaken the enemy as much as possible, and then finish them off with a weak point, which is hard to do. Pretty risky. I'm not really going to go for it, but you kind of get the idea. The flame vampires, their weak points are the tanks.
What happened to my family?
love when you destroy those enemies. The sound design's really good. There's only one branching path in this level, it's just that fork. There's one more branching path situation in stage 4, and then it's pretty much linear from that point forward. So, as mentioned before, the branching path variety is not super varied in this game. There's a rare instance of fighting like more than 2 enemies. I think 3 is the maximum, so it's a game balancing thing they had to do. Oh no, I didn't save him. So you see he turns into a vampire. Oops.
That was close.
She gets a life up.
Thank you. Take this.
So extra 1,000 points to my score, I guess. There is a score code. Like in the arcade version, you show your score, which is normally hidden unless you beat the levels or the game. Alright. This boss is very similar in some respects to Hangman from the House of the Dead and one in Scarlet Dawn. He doesn't have bats. We'll get to the bats later. But this guy, he just kind of flies around. He's got a laser attack. There's a lot of rapid fire you kind of have to do with this guy. And then there's moments where he's flying in a distance and you can't shoot him. A little bit of chip damage. I kind of just shoot a bit. Some other players have done this too, but like you can kind of just shoot slow. Get your beat on him and then start kind of rapid firing a little bit more. Although you still have to pay attention to the iframes he gets after each hit. It's like about a second of invincibility. It's an item hidden in that area. Kind of got to do some more laser attacks. And this is the almost final phase here. Just kind of wait for him when the flames appear. That means he can be shot. There are some visual tells with this boss that can help you know when it's time to engage him. So I'll do this for a little bit. Pretty sure rank is still at, yeah, rank is still at max. And then final phase here, it's really hard. He's taking more shots, so rank is pretty high. And not happy with me. This game looks amazing. The graphics are really beautiful. It just, man, like, this was a mind blower when it came out in early 2000s. I think it was 2002 or 3. I forget the name. Forget the year.
Me, defeated by humans? Never!
Goodbye, Goldman. Wait, wrong game. That seems pretty funny too.
That was scary.
Nope. Rejected. Alright. It's about halfway through the game. The difficulty gets definitely harder as it continues. Phantasma Concerto. Did humanity exist? Is it worth saving? All the chapter names, I guess, have musical influences. It's It's an interesting style. It's definitely a looker of the game.
He's been defeated.
He deserved it.
You still can't forget about her.
Another amazing Vampire Knight moment.
What do you know? What I have lost. The pain I have suffered. Now, let's see what a human can do.
Oh, God.
Thank you for rescuing me.
There's no need to thank us. We're here too.
Once you hear that, thank you for rescuing me, you know you're playing a House of the Dead game. Alright. Chapter 4. You get some very interesting enemies. There's a life up in the top of the screen, which you could barely see. Right there, I'm gonna keep it in case I need it. These vampires sound like fireworks for some reason. Or firecrackers, either or. There's a few weird score items, like there's garlic, there's holy water, there's a floating green skull, and then there's actually a watermelon, which according to the developer, I don't know exactly where it comes from. There's like some folklore about fruit. Like if you leave it under a full moon and something with vampires, turns into a vampire, or I don't know. It's really obscure kind of thing.
Enough!
You look up Google vampire watermelon.
Now it's your turn!
Alright, this boss is a pain. This is one boss I can pronounce. It's Raoul. You have to play a game of Where's Raoul? So you have to he's clones himself. There's some effects that I don't think actually work in the PlayStation 2 emulation, where like his yeah, I'm gonna get hit here. That's fine. Yep. Not enough time. That's fine. So now you see I took damage, so now the rank is lowered, so now he's taking more damage, less hits. Yeah. But when he clones himself, he usually, his after images like kind of have a blur effect. I don't think it actually is properly playing on the emulator, so it's a bit harder in that phase to actually figure out where he is. Scythe vampires. I missed a green skull. That's fine. Save her.
Impossible! You can't take them on with just a gun!
I'm gonna... Should I take the risk? There's an interesting kind of mechanic here. I don't know. Let's see. There's a branching path. If you don't kill these vampires fast enough, she falls into this void. It's kind of like an MC Escher painting, like this black and white dimension. Did I get it fast enough? I did, so she doesn't fall. Yeah, I won't go for it. If you save the right person before the left, you actually get a life up. Or sorry, you save the other way around. If you change the ordering of when you save those hostages, you actually get another life up. But I'm like, I didn't feel like going for it. Let's see if I can get a life up at the end of this stage. If not, there's actually 2 life ups in stage 5. And we'll see how we're doing there and go from there. So the path you take if you fall through the floor is more difficult. I think it's lower scoring as well. You also don't get to save those villagers. And Raoul comes back. You gotta guess where he is. There's a visual tell with this boss, like how he falls. Gotta rapid fire a bit more here. Does this for a little bit. I think that should be it. Alright, time for the true phase of his boss. Wait.
You humans made me remember I couldn't save her. This pain, to heal my pain, I shall sacrifice my soul and be a vampire. Humans, heal my soul!
So it's kind of interesting. You fight the vampires in their human form as a boss fight for most of them, and then you fight their actual vampire form. A lot of rapid fire here, so it's actually similar to Judgment, how you have like a big boss and little boss fighting simultaneously, but the little boss is actually the one you want to shoot. The big one, shooting the big vampire will not actually do damage, so you gotta shoot for Raoul. You can get a lot of damage on Raoul in this phase if he chooses to stay in it, but he can, on a whim, he can just leave it. It's kind of RNG. A little bit too close for comfort there, but we got through that phase. And that's it. That's Raoul. That's chapter 4.
Sophie, please forgive me.
No! Please save him! Hasn't he suffered enough? Humans suffer, right?
Why? Why am I still alive?
Live your life as a human. Fight your soul once again.
So Raoul gets bared. Also, he mentions Sophie. The lore, his wife is killed by people, by humans, and then he grows misanthrope. He becomes a misanthrope and decides to become a vampire as a result. This game does have lore. A lot of it is mostly in guidebooks. I have a Japanese guidebook. There's also some archived websites. Vernaculum Nocturne. Why do I exist? How many more lives must I sacrifice? How can I end my cursed fate? Almost forgot to read the text.
Please wait! Sir Vampire!
You stay here.
The voice acting. She sounds like Amy from House of the Dead too.
No! Please let me. I'll hold them off for sure.
Sure. The music in this stage is awesome. I love this music.
Sir Vampire has suffered enough.
No.
Soundtrack in this game is really good.
So be it. If this is what you want, I must stop you here.
Yeah. So the lore, her name is Diane, and not to be confused with Diane Foxington from the Bad Guys 2, coming out in August of next year, which I'm hyped for. Obligatory Diane Foxington reference in this game, for this run. But in the lore, she's a mermaid, and then she marries Count August, and then she's basically cursed now. She's a vampire. Like in lore. I did find it interesting, though. A lot of stuff to cover on a wiki, for sure. This level's really hard because it has enemies that... Okay, these projectiles you can barely see. That's, like, one problem. These magician-like icicle-throwing vampires are terrible, and these ones, too. Flying vampires. It's a bit lower scoring of an option, but sometimes it's just kind of best to just defeat them as fast as possible.
I must stop you here.
Alright, so here's Diane again. So Diane is coming after us with some balls. And depending on rank, there's more they have to shoot down and they move faster. So it's really... there's a lot of close shaves that can happen if you're playing on high rank. But there's no more people to rescue. Also, spoiler alert, there's no bonus room for saving all the people. So, kind of on our own from here. There's an extra life at the end of the stage, and then if I get a high enough accuracy percentage, I'll get a light. See how it goes. So there's an example. You can barely see those projectiles, and they blend in with the environment. That's one of the reasons why this level is so dangerous. That's a perfect example right there. That's okay. It's a beautiful stage, but it's a bit too beautiful because it distracts you. You can't actually, like, for buffering your accuracy, some players, like, you can actually stay in one area and just continue farming the projectiles from those flying vampires, which doesn't work for long because the game will actually stop you from doing that. But actually, like, if you farm the points for too long, or your accuracy percentage for too long by repeatedly shooting the projectiles from the flying vampires, the game will make the projectiles immediately hit you to force you to move along. So at least it has programming to stop you from that. I'm not sure what that thing is. It's like a bouncing fish. Oh, that hit me. Oh well. Alright. Now for the boss. So, I would like to reach the final boss for reasons that will become evident probably shortly and get an extra life. But we'll see how this fight goes. Here's Diane.
So you have come this far, but I cannot let you go any further.
Not the Crimson Paw.
Have it your way.
Wait! Why can't you settle your differences? Why do you hate each other?
Humans and vampires compromising. What a silly thing you say, little one. But I can't stop here. The warmth Sir Vampire has given me. I can't turn back now.
Alright, here's Diane. So I kind of wanted to reach this at max health, but we'll see how the fight goes. I kind of rapid fire a lot. She's a pain. The projectiles, she sends like spears after you, and they're so thin and narrow, but if you empty her cancel gauge by shooting her repeatedly, you cancel all the projectiles out. You don't have to deal with them. Reload. So that's like a risky thing, but like taking the iframe she gets every second, so I can keep my accuracy percentage up and increase the chances I'll get that life up. But if you miss a shot, then it's pretty bad in terms of like you're wasting time. You may get hit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I didn't do it fast enough. Oh well. I'm gonna play a little bit more aggressively for the rest of the fight, I think. So that's kind of an example right there. Where just like
Reload.
you're a little bit too slow with those shots. Okay. And then Diane is down. So let's see if we'll get the life up, or else we're going to final boss with 3 lives, which isn't the best, but we'll see what we can do.
Thank you. And farewell, my beloved vampire.
Alright. So, final boss.
Life up!
I got the life up. Alright. So, 4 lives going into the final boss. I have come to take my life. Let us settle this 300-year-old war once and for all. Who shall live? Who shall die? So there's no bonus room for saving all the villagers. There's no enemies you even fight before the boss. It's just you and the boss. And
We must go on from here without you. You must stay here.
I'm gonna let the boss do the talking here, and I'll try my best to deal with what this game throws at me. This is without a doubt one of the hardest final bosses in the Lycan genre, and I'm not super consistent at 1CCing it, so no promises. I'll try my best. This boss is a nightmare, but it's pretty fun to try, so no issues even if I don't do it. This game is hard. So I'm not gonna be able to talk.
Live as a vampire.
I gotta focus, but we'll try our best. I'm just happy to reach here at least in 1 credit, but okay. Final boss. Get this rant.
What my heart desires.
You don't even care about what he's saying, your adrenaline's pumping. It's like you just want to get on with the fight. Like you don't even care about it. Like
What we started 300 years ago.
this game is war.
Battle is for my devoted followers.
Alright.
The end to all.
Alright. Time to shoot really fast and just hope things work out. Alright. So here's a gust. Enjoy. The hitbox there is so particular. I was like rapid firing and still didn't get it. Oh well. Okay, that's phase 1 of 3. Not the greatest phase 1 I've had, but it tends to be like that with this boss. So now we get to phase 2, which is way worse than the first. He's like Emperor from House of the Dead 2, in which he uses attacks based on bosses. It's a real trip.
Our destiny is where our fate takes us.
So, more cheesy dialogue. Alright, there's another big fight. That phase is the worst. Alright. Final phase, which also kind of sucks. Let's see how this goes. Oh, I get it. I'm gonna get hit. Nope. Oh, I'm gonna get hit. Yes, 1 CC! Oh my god! Oh my god.
I will die.
Oh my god.
Outstanding. And so will you.
Yes! 1 CC!
We are not what we were
Oh,
300
Christ.
years ago. The girl, she changed us. She gave us the...
Oh my god. That was so stressful.
We shall disappear.
Oh my god, that feels so good.
We have no regrets. It's all over now.
I think you understand why I think this is one of the hardest 1CC icon games. Oh my god. I'm so happy I did that. That would have been a heartbreaker if I didn't get it. That feels so good. Oh my god.
6 months later.
Oh. Alright, let me get this ending.
Alive.
I'm like so sweaty right now. I need like a bathroom break.
I shall not forget. My heart shall...
Thanks for the GG's, guys.
That day,
I'm like, my blood's pumping, man.
and what happened.
So good. Yeah, so you get this one ending regardless of your performance. There's no special, there's no multiple endings like House of the Dead games. There's not even a staff role for some reason. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint who worked on this game. We know Takashi Oda did. The guy who producer of House of the Dead 3 did it. Oh, I can't even talk. I need like a break after this, man. I got one more game. My hands are shaking. It felt so good. I still need to work on scores, like getting over 100,000, but man, like, this game is nasty. That final boss, he can really take a lot from you. What kind of helped me there was because I was taking damage, it lowered the rank, so he was taking more damage per phase. So you kind of see that there. So that's the rank system at play. Yeah, that was Vampire Knight. That was quite an eventful game. I'm beyond words. Game's hard, but it's a fun House of the Dead 2.5, as I like to call it. I gotta take a bathroom break, I gotta grab a water, and then I guess I'll be playing the final Coin Up Classic 2024 game, which is House of the Dead 3, which I'll get set up here shortly. So thanks, guys. Let me take a break, and I'll be back with you soon. Oh my god.